Good morning. Where's Frankie? Frankie, where are you? Where's my dog? Frankie? Frankie? Frankie! Good boy. He had a time with those fireworks last night. It was crazy. Okay, go find. What are you doing? What? I woke up with such a headache. I stayed up till after midnight and then kept waking up back and forth. And so, oh man, I took a long hot shower. I think I drained every drop of water. Sorry, California. Yes, I'm a water hog. I'm usually not. I learned very young to be good to water. There for a long time, whenever I took a shower, I would shut off the water while I was lathering up. But my skin's too sensitive for that. So I just try to keep the water, you know how you turn up the water to get the best pressure? Well, I settle for less pressure using less water. That's what I do. But there are times that I splurge. And you know what? I don't want to feel guilty about it. Why am I telling you about it? Because I feel naughty when I keep a secret. Okay. Oh, I have several topics I want to talk about today. It's just going around. It's so crazy. Okay, so today is finally January 1st, 2025. Oh my God, it's going to be a great year. It's going to be so fun to watch. You know, it's too bad we don't have news that we can count on. And I'm not trying to put anybody down. What I'm trying to say is, you know the telephone game? Well, sometimes the story changes if the truth doesn't get right out there. And I always am suspicious when every channel is saying exactly the same thing. And they really are. It's just you either have your left side of it or your right side of it. To actually get absolute truth in the numbers is kind of crazy to me. I'm going to tell you one example. One example is autism. They've been talking a lot about what causes autism, the increase in autism, or if it's just because we're talking about it more and there's more focus on it. And I can tell you that I have seen people who have had autism for decades now, and I can tell you that most of them do not have autism. What they have is spoilism and pamperism, and they're going for a free ride. They have been made to believe that if they just show certain struggles, then that's how they're going to act because they like how they're being treated. You don't believe me? There's no way any disease, whether it was in the 60s or 2025, that goes from 1 in 100,000 to 1 in 25 or 1 in 10. There's just no way. There's 1 in 10 people are not mentally retarded. They're not autistic. They're not bipolar. They're not schizophrenic. They're not. The brain is not designed to be handicapped. And if it is designed to be handicapped, they don't usually live long, not out in the wild in the caveman days. But today, we put people who can't take care of themselves on free money, whatever you want to call it. And the head trips their parents have to suffer. So some of it isn't done on purpose. Some of it's learned helplessness or learned uniqueness. And I know I'm being pretty bold saying all this, but I'm telling you, as a mental health professional who's not being paid to keep up a story, I'm just telling you what my experience is. I'm just telling you that. I have worked with people who have actually honestly admitted in my office, I have a way with clients. I might not always have a way with myself. Physician, heal thyself, right? That's been an ongoing deal, so don't judge me. Frankie, don't go in there. Okay, so the reason I'm riled up about this is because if you do a deeper dive in all of this, you're going to find that the media has changed way over. The media wasn't completely trustworthy in the beginning, and that's why you used to get taught ethics and rules, ethics, regulations, rules, and moral responsibility in journalism school. There used to be a journalism school. How do I know? Because that was the path I was originally going to go down. It's because I wanted to help with the water pollution and landfill pollution movement that was popular finally in the early 70s when I got the information. There was a lot more to it than some of the degrees that people are in now. They just learn how to talk, present themselves, and have some kind of social degrees usually. That's from you can Google it. You can Google each newscaster's what their education, their degrees have been in. Some of them don't have degrees, and that's fine. I don't care. So my point is, they've always been tainted by money. The pharmaceutical companies, I can tell you, one of their biggest regrets was letting aspirin get out before they were able to patent it. If you look for information on all the things that aspirin can help you with, that's why it's one of the few medications I keep in my house. I keep, depending on what I need it for, aspirin, ibuprofen, acetaminophen, Mucinex, Benadryl, Zyrtec, and my high blood pressure medicine, liquid silver, tea tree, lavender, iodine, salt, baking soda, charcoal powder, what else do I have in there? Well, probably some things I can't say on YouTube without getting in trouble. Even as little as I am. Shh, don't subscribe. I don't care if you even give a thumbs up. The less I'm noticed, the more I can be on here. Because if somebody notices I'm on here, I'm out of here. Yeah, I'll get in big trouble. I wouldn't be happy if my spouse was on YouTube talking bad about me sometimes, which isn't always, the case. I'm a very dramatic, emotional person, so I'm working on not taking things so seriously. But anyway, pharmaceuticals have been paying big money to stay out of litigation, and people in politics run the media. So the people in politics are also paying the media. Look at the contracts basically, let's just say, I don't know what year it was, but it made it very hard to sue a pharmaceutical company. It made it very hard. That's why you'll see on commercials lawyers trying to get more and more and more people together to finally be able to sue, or to be able to sue big companies, government, the military, things like that. That's why that mesothelioma, that cancer, killed my one of my godmothers. And weird fast too. I mean, it took a long time to hit her, but when it did, it happened fairly quick. But my point is, it's not easy to sue. But if you're successful, you get money for a while and you get a good chunk of change for the everyday person. But for a rich person, it's nothing. If you have $100 billion, it's nothing. I have had clients who've had cancer who have had to put off their certain tests because they had to find a different institution, a different doctor. And then by the time they do that, the rules, the agreements, the contracts get changed again. And so they get denied again and denied again. And it's breathtaking and awe-striking that that's happening. The reason I'm bringing this up is because I see that with the new administration, there are people who are getting a pretty bad rap about some of the things that they're talking about immunizations. I'm not saying immunizations are bad. What I'm saying is not all of them are good. And there are hidden studies, just like there used to be on ivermectin. Years ago, I used to love doing research. I can get caught down that rabbit hole so easy. I just love it. But years ago, I did a report on ivermectin and because we were supposed to do it on Nobel Prize winners. And I don't remember a lot about it. Matter of fact, I tried to find it. And when I couldn't find it, I went on the internet to see if I could find my paper. And I couldn't find anybody's paper through the whole COVID thing. Matter of fact, you couldn't find anything on that medication other than these warnings. So, to say it was used for horse medicine only, worming only, I was like, where's the information I had? I don't know. So anyway, I'm just saying, keep an open mind. And there's so many people who are judging and talking when they don't know. They don't know. And media, it was making me sick watching it for a while. And I had several of you encourage me to get off that internet. I can't remember who all, or off the news. But several of you encouraged me to stop it. It's addictive. And I probably use that word a lot. I was thinking about that too. I use the word addictive a lot. And that's because of what I've learned about neural pathways. Any thought that we have over and over and over again, that's why it's easy to brainwash some people, is because if their neural pathways are fairly simple, it's easy to make sense to them. And because they don't have the ambition to explore and research something, no offense, then it's engraved in there. That's how you get these. It's almost like mass hypnosis. It's like you can get enough people chanting the same thing until, and also because of the wolf pack phenomenon where people want to be part of a group. They'll die on a mountain defending their causes. So, yeah, it's interesting. I know that when I worked inpatient at a treatment center, you could see where they were, when trazodone came out, they were saying, oh, it's not addictive, it's great. the pharmaceuticals really sold it big time, just like they did Valium. Not addictive, it's okay. And so we were using it on alcoholics in recovery and drug addicts every night to help them get some sleep that they so badly needed. Turns out, and Ambien. They were having psychotic episodes. Not everybody gets to take Ambien, even if they're not drinking. Or I don't know. Sugar is a bad enough drug for me. So that's all I have to say about that. Are you ready? I have to continue reading the front of this book because I haven't read the beginning of this in a long time. Matter of fact, I went through another box of stuff that was in the attic. That's how I came up with this a while back. Okay, I'm going to read January 1st. You ready? Maybe it'll straighten out my attitude. Okay, January 1st, the shape of things to come. Enough if something from our hands have power to live and act and serve the future hour. William Wordsworth. Enough is something from our hands have power to live and act and serve the... I don't know what that means. A new year stretches ahead, and you have the power in your hands to make a fresh beginning today. This is the day you're going to begin looking and feeling like the person you want to be. The day you're going to make the word action the most important word in your vocabulary. Why? Because you have made a positive decision about yourself for today and all your future days. Don't stop at decision making. Decision without action is like living in a house with no windows. Open your house to the light by putting your decision into action. Decide on an eating and exercise plan that will help you lose weight healthfully. Then reread the principles of the action plan in the introduction. Today, just become familiar with them. Try them on. If they fit, make them your own. Today, start the process of making action a part of your life. Today's action plan. Right where I am, from whatever weight or point of despair, I will make a positive start on my future. Amen. Amen. That's actually one of the topics I wanted to talk about today. That could go for, and of course, replace the weight thin thing with whatever it is that you're obsessing with. Excuse me. Or addicted to, or consumed with, or spending just too much time with. People, places, or things. That's why I love the study of addiction, because the word addiction is so overused. Sort of like the word narcissism and autism. They're way overused, way over diagnosed, right? The deal with addiction is it's a sloppy, overly used word for the physiology pattern that the brain takes on when it overdoes certain things, or when there are certain chemicals added to the system that affect the brain. It makes that behavior repeated in spite of negative results. That's just how the brain works. So you don't have to call it addiction if you don't want to. Call it something else. So, back to the reading. What's really cool is that here's an example of what I think it's talking about. Is you don't have to start big. You can look at the principles, reread them. When I started AA, I reread the steps every day. Not because I was working each one every day, but because I wanted to familiarize myself with them so much that if I had a problem come up, I could kind of lean into one of those steps to try to help me, especially if I couldn't get a hold of my sponsor or my therapist. The thing with thought is that we can exercise our brain just by being familiar. Matter of fact, if you, I love research, you know that. If you just imagine, close your eyes and actually imagine doing sit-ups. Imagine, get yourself comfortable on the floor, get yourself psyched up, and then in your imagination, start doing the crunches. Lift your knees up and touch your elbows, or to your chin if you can. Or just barely keep your legs down or your knees bent and barely lift up your neck, shoulders, and upper back if you can't get all the way up. Just really get into it. Science has proven that physiology reacts. And what happens is you accidentally start building muscle. Yeah. So, the body works because the brain is working to support that behavior. Because you have to think to be able to do the exercise, right? Okay. Now, think about what it takes. I was watching, what's his name? He's just the nicest guy. He gives vitamins and nutrition and little tips on what to do with headaches and backaches. And recently he started doing some workout stuff. And he says if you just put your heels up on a towel, like roll a towel up, put your heels up on the towel and lift your arms, but you have to focus on pulling in your belly button as far as you can. Doesn't mean you have to be skinny to do it. You can be vastly overweight. The deal is to just do it. Just do it. Not have any excuses, just do it. And you'll have to look him up. What's his name? Gosh darn it. Dr. M-O-L-A-V-E, maybe? I don't know, but I'll write it down and tell you next time. But he does a lot of shorts. He's just a wonderful guy. I'm not sure what he does for a living. I think he's a pharmacist. I'm not sure. I'll have to look at it. I haven't done my research on the man. But I do know that I have read studies on the sit-up thing. So I believe it. The simplest exercises are what's going to make you feel better about yourself and motivate you. If you just start. You don't ever have to push yourself to do more than the level you are at the just starting level. Even if that's all you do. Since I got out of the military, all I force myself to do at least 1 minute on my mini trampoline. And sometimes if I'm depressed, I'm like, screw it. And I'll do 15 seconds maybe, or 10 seconds. But I force myself also to take my dog for a walk every morning, almost every morning. And when I don't, I play with him in the kitchen, and I have an island that we'll play hide and seek with. The point is, even if you're depressed, and I know what it's like to be depressed. I had all the excuses in the world to be depressed. Good reasons to be depressed. But even with that, most of the time, after a few days of giving into it, we can get back on track and start doing the things that lift us out of depression. And that means getting the brain to work in different little highways, different little side roads. I don't want to forget to say this. I preach about how the brain works over and over and over again. But the body and the brain work together. That's why certain foods agitate some people. I have noticed that maybe it's hormones, but I'm more sensitive to coffee now than I was. And I have to just accept that. It's just true. It doesn't matter what I think or what I wish. It's true. Coffee affects how I feel. So I've cut back. Instead of fighting it and saying, well, I'm going to drink as much coffee as I want. This isn't fair. There's enough other things. There are enough other things that I do that I don't want to give up. So I can slow down on coffee. I can slow down on this or that. I don't have to quit. I don't have to quit everything. I don't have to quit anything. I have to decide how much am I willing to suffer to fight on that. To fight on that hill. Am I going to die on that hill? I don't know. I don't want to. So, just throwing it out there. I know sometimes. Oh, you know, one thing that I did is because I have some mental health videos I like to watch to see if I can forward them to some of my clients, because I can't be with them all the time. And so sometimes I'll come across a video and think, oh, this will be good for them to watch between now and when I see them again, you know? So I invested in that YouTube channel because our YouTube payment plan, what is it? Subscription, sorry. So I can watch without commercials. So while I was doing that, I came across some videos I wouldn't normally watch because they're short and they'll have 3 commercials or 10 commercials, and I just don't have the patience for that. So anyway, I was watching some, and I'm going to tell you that you can tell the channels that are mostly trying to help. There's one called School, S-K-O-L or S-K-O-O-L, School of Thought. There's another channel called, Psych to Go, I think. I'm just getting more familiar with them. But they're usually just a couple minute videos. And I can tell you this, if you have common horse sense, you're going to love those channels because they'll confirm that what your gut says is right, even if your brain doesn't agree. Even if the media doesn't agree. I had studied, when we studied War and Peace, thank God I took that class. It was an elective, and I'm so glad I took it. But we studied mass hypnosis. And when I was so confused and befuddled about how information was disappearing and how people were getting violent about, and they still are right now, violent about what side of the fence they're sitting on politically. I don't care what side of the fence you sit on. I love you. I just love you. You're here. You're trying to improve yourself. You're supporting me with kind words. I mean, I hardly ever get a bad word. I've had a, back before I raised the block on my comments, the security, I used to get a lot of people from foreign countries trying to date me. So I spent a lot of time explaining I'm happily married. And then I thought, oh, stupid. I'm not going to do that. Oh, I may have to plumb. It may be my fault some of your messages aren't getting through. Because I'm thinking sometimes we cuss and horse around. So I'm wondering if that might be part of it. We'll have to figure that out. But yeah, I kind of got tired of it. And then I even started overreacting because I was so afraid to get caught having this channel that, no, I love my husband and he is getting better. He is getting better. And I don't give him credit for that very often because it was miserable trying to be his caretaker for so long. Because it's kind of like with people who get Alzheimer's or certain types of dementia, is that they can get very angry and really lash out and be cruel. And that's kind of where he was for a while. It was very, very hard to have hope that anything could be different. But things have gotten better as he's worked on himself and come to acceptance about some of his diagnosis. So anyway, but I'm still keeping my channel a secret. Don't tell! But anyway, I accidentally chased off a couple people because they were like, where do you live? And instead of just going, oh, I'm in Tennessee, and keeping the conversation light, I was like, why do you ask? What do you want to know for? I was scared. So anyway, and weirdly, her name was Karen. She was like, well, if you're going to be that offended, I don't know. I don't remember what happened. It was a long time ago when I first started. And where I wasn't sure about YouTube, it's just that I had found a couple other people on here who were doing the same thing. Rose was one of them. And then she decided she wanted her channel to grow, which I thought was pretty cool. But then I was following this other young lady who was suffering in her marriage. And her husband caught her and said if they were going to work on their marriage, which he was ready to do, she had to quit this YouTube stuff because it was too upsetting. So both those things were happening at the same time. So that's why I try to keep everything on the down low because I just don't want the drama. But I love the support. So I'm all over the place this morning. It's a new year. I was up too late, didn't get enough sleep, so I'm a little bit punchy. A little bit punchy. That means I'm gonna have, in my opinion, I'm gonna have extra energy. I've decided to finish up my taxes. I want to get them finished up. The last couple years, I've had a real challenge with getting them done because of depression. So I feel so much better this year than I have in a long time. Oh, I better hustle up. I'm not sure if this is still videotaping. I have a call coming in, which I'm going to return as soon as I get done with this video. Oh, we're still on. So usually when I swish it away, it stops the camera. So I'm learning. Okay, so here's something I want to tell you. The brain and the body working together. So if you do a little exercise, getting back to that doctor, he was talking about doing that little exercise. I want you to just understand. Here's an example of what I'm talking about. And he reminded me of that, coinciding with that reading, is if I'm stiff, which I very often do when I get depressed and decide not to move. Because there are times when I'll say, oh, I should get up and do this. I should get it. And I'm like, no, I don't want to. So if I don't move, I get really stiff. It's not unique. It's for everybody. That's why there's something called muscle atrophy. There's feelings that feel like arthritis. But what it is the, what's it called? The fascia in between your muscles. It's like when you tear a chicken apart, if you do a homemade chicken and you're pulling the chicken apart, you'll see that very thin, like saran wrap, just very thin skin in between the different parts of the body. Well, the human body is full of these ligaments and fascia in between all of our muscles. We're just like meat inside. And when it's not moved around, it builds up different chemicals that make us feel stiff. So if all you do is move your shoulders in the smallest way, it doesn't have to be big. Move your fingers in the smallest way. Move your waist in the smallest way. I don't care if you get up and do a bunch of exercises. Just move a little bit. Because when you just, even, that's why I dance a lot. Or cleaning house, I'll just move a little bit to some music. If I don't feel like exercising, I don't feel like getting on my trampoline, I don't feel like walking the dog, let him run in the backyard, I don't care. That we gotta understand there's a relationship between our brain and our body. If you're moving your body, you're moving something around in the brain. And it has to do with helping reduce the depressive chemicals. It all works together. Yes, it does. It all works together. Yup. That's the truth. Okay, I put it on and then I take it off. Because I don't like it on real dark. Okay, what else am I doing? I need a lipstick. Oh, I gotta go dry my hair. Well, I hope y'all are doing okay. I hope you all are coming into this new year with an open heart. I hope an open mind. I hope you understand that you're the boss of you. And you can have any kind of day you want. You can have any kind of day you want. That's a hard one to remember. Might want to write it down. You can have any kind of day you want. I used to have an old friend who would say, have a day. Have a day. And I was like, what are you talking about? It's like, you go have a day. Have a day. Have a day. Have a day. Whatever it is you want, go have it. Like, oh, okay. All right. And that's when I thought, I'm the boss of me. Oh, I got that from Chair Full of Bullies. Who was that? Anyway, she had a greeting card that said, I'm the boss of me, or a little sign in her calendar. Oh, what was her name? Engelbert. Something Engelbert. That she was a craze. She was the biggest craze since Strawberry Patch doll wallpaper. All right. Well, I have to go blow dry my hair. So, you have a day. And I'm going to go call my sponsor real quick to say Happy New Year. I love y'all. I wish I had more time to just sit around and chit-chat because that's what I feel like doing. All right. Love you. Bye for now.